Hey everyone, what's up? Can you see me? Can you hear me? I think you can. I know most of you were seeing a white screen, and that was because we were just running a few minutes late, but we are here now. So I just want to make sure you guys can see me and hear me. David says yay, Megan says yup, and David says yes. Awesome, you can hear me. So we are just waiting on Amric from Kashoo, who I think is logged in. Amric, you can just turn on your microphone and camera up at the top there by clicking on the icons. And then we are, oh, I can hear you. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Great, great. So we already have almost 80 people on and they are excited. I saw someone say that they've been using QuickBooks and they can't wait to see how Kashoo can change their life. So that's what we're going to show them today, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So before we let Amric get into the demo, let me tell you about how this webinar is going to work. Right now, you're seeing the both of us. In a second, Amric's going to take you through a demo and a walkthrough of Kashoo. He will show you all the nifty features of the software. And if at any time you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat box. I believe someone from Kashoo will be there to answer your questions. And then at the end of the webinar, I'm going to come on and ask him some of your most frequently questions and some of the most helpful questions. So that way you guys can pay attention to the demo and not have to keep your eye on the chat box all the time. And with that said, if you can't stay until the end, that's okay, because I'm going to be sending out a replay of this entire webinar later today in your email. Check your spam filters, because I can't tell you how many times these replays get snagged in your spam filters, and we don't want that to happen, because we want you to be able to go and catch up on what you missed or go back and relearn. So let's see. Amric, you're still having an issue. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can certainly hear you. Let me get my screen share going here and see how that works out.
Yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this works. And yay, we can see your screen.
Perfect.
Awesome. So I will let you, you guys can hear him, right? Let me just make sure that you can hear him and see your screen, see his screen before I pop off here. David's saying yay technology. Yay technology for sure. Ayo technology is a song, I think. All right, they can see your screen and they can hear you, so I will let you take it away. And David, sorry, not David, Amric, when you're done, just let me know and I'll come back on and ask you those questions that are coming through the chat box. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. Fantastic. All right.
Okay.
So very excited to be here today. I'm going to walk you through a couple of things inside of Kashoo today. So of course, if you've already signed up for Kashoo, you know all the things that Kashoo can do for you. It can help you track all of your expenses so you don't end up paying more come tax time. You can record all of your bills so you always know who you owe money. You can issue invoices to your clients and be able to accept payment online by credit card, which helps you get paid faster. And of course, see all of your financial reports right inside of Kashoo. The things that we'll cover today are some of the basics of getting your account set up. We'll show you how to record some income and expenses into your account. And I'll show you some of the things inside of Kashoo, like issuing invoices, what that's going to look like, what your client will see, how you can customize it with your own logo. And we'll also walk through some of the financial reports that we have inside the system. So without any further ado, I'm actually going to jump right into the product and show you what that's going to look like. So if you haven't already signed up, if you've already bought an AppSumo code, you can just go over to kashoo.com/appsumo, enter in your AppSumo code and your email address, hit the little start button. And once you do that, you'll be able to set up your business and then get into this interface right here, which is what we're going to be walking through today. So I'll just start off by guiding you through what our is like. So starting off at the top navigation here, you can see that this workspace is highlighted. This is sort of where I will be doing most of the work inside of Kashoo. We do have a couple of other things that are up here, things like going into settings, which we'll dig into in a little bit. And we also have this help link. So I always like to point this out to people because a lot of times people sort of ignore it. It's out in the corner. But we do have a lot of great resources available to you on how to get set up inside of Kashoo. There's some great videos that walk you through different features of Kashoo. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to just click on that little help link and start typing in and search, and you usually find what you're looking for there. We like to keep things really simple because we know most small business owners do not like accounting and bookkeeping. They're sort of in business to run their business, not to do the books. But we try and keep things really simple so you can get in and out of the product as quickly as possible. We've broken up the left-hand navigation into a couple of different sections. You can see we've got the actions area here. Most of the day-to-day work inside of Kashoo. This is where you can go and issue invoices to your clients, record your expenses, do that kind of thing. We've got lists, which is where you can manage all of your clients and suppliers, the things that you buy and sell, which is what we refer to as items. We also have a feature inside of Kashoo called projects, which is where you can do project or job costing right inside the product as well. And then, of course, we've got a full set of financial reports, and we'll be digging into each of those in a couple of minutes here. The middle pane that we've got here is really the main part of the workspace. This is where you'll be getting all of your work done inside of Kashoo, and we'll be digging into this in just a quick second. And then finally, on the right-hand side is what we refer to as our mini reports. This is where you can always get an at-a-glance view of how your business is doing in real time. And finally, probably one of my favorite parts of the app is the fact that we have this little chat bubble right here. So if you ever have any questions about anything that you're doing inside the product, feel free to click that little chat bubble and start a live chat with us. We're able to help you out right away. All right, so I'll start off by showing you how quickly and easily you can start doing some of the day-to-day tasks inside of Kashoo. I'll start by recording an expense. So it's one of those things that you're probably going to be doing quite frequently. It's something that you'll obviously want to be doing to make sure that you're paying less on your taxes, and it's important to make sure that you are recording all of your expenses. So I can do that very quickly just by going over to the Enter Expense tab. I can select whichever supplier I bought something from. I can choose how I had paid. In this case, I paid with a credit card. Then all I need to do is choose the category that this expense belongs to. So I bought some office supplies. So just type in, I bought some pens and paper. It's for $10, and I can choose any of the taxes that were applicable. Just a quick tip here, we actually have a couple of different ways that you can go and enter that. For each of the taxes that I have in here, it shows up twice. One of them is the minus version of the tax, and one is the plus version of the tax. Might seem confusing to start off with, but I assure you it's actually really simple. Once you learn what it is, you're going to be really happy that it's a time-saving feature for you. Most of the time, you're probably going to use the plus version of the tax. So in this case here, local tax will be applicable, so I add that. So it was $10 plus 7% local tax. Total was $10.70. But what happens if my total of my bill was $10, but I don't know exactly how much the tax was? Well, I don't have to manually pull out a calculator. I can just choose this version of the tax. It'll automatically go back out the tax for you, and you see my total was $10. Really handy time-saving feature. Saves you from having to pull out a calculator. I hit on Add Expense. That expense got added. I can confirm that it was added. I see it right in the list below. And it probably happened way too quickly for anybody to notice, but the little mini reports here are on the updated immediately just to give me right away, so I can see that my net income has been updated, so I can see how much money that my business is making. Recording income inside of Kashoo is just as easy. So income is money that you've already received from a client. If I want to issue an invoice from Kashoo, which is, again, that I'm doing work for a client, they haven't paid me yet, and I need to send them an invoice to get paid, I can just go over to the Invoices tab. I can choose from my list of clients if I already have one set up. If not, I can always hit the little Add Client button to set one up real quick. But in this case, I'll choose one that I already have in the list. I can set when my client needs to pay me by. So in this case, I'm going to give them 30 days to pay. So I'll choose within 30 days. We automatically set the date for you. And then I select from the list of products and services that I sell. And in this case, I sold a photo book. It pre-fills in with all. Just hit Add Invoice. The invoice gets added to the system right away. And then I've got a couple of different options. I can either download a PDF copy of that invoice and might want to print it out. But what I'll probably do is I'll just send the invoice out by email. So I just click on this little email link. I can customize the body of the message in any way that I want. And I can send it off by email just by hitting send. You'll notice in here that we do have an option to let you get paid by credit card online. So this is a really handy feature so that your clients, as soon as they receive that email, it's going to have a link inside there that they can pay. They can click on it, pay it immediately using your credit card, and as soon as it gets paid, it'll be updated inside of Kashoo. You'll see that it's being paid and won't have to worry about having to chase after your clients to collect money again. The credit card payments feature is available in Canada and the US. Our rates for that are 2.9% plus 30 cents, which is fairly standard. If you already have your own Stripe account, you can, of course, connect that to your Kashoo account as well and use that instead. So both are options for you. And if you also accept payment through other methods, whether it be by direct wire transfer, check, anything like that, we give you the option to automatically to go in here, choose the add payment option, and manually record that payment in there. So we had some questions come in about customizing invoices. So you can really quickly do that by choosing one of our pre-built invoice templates from this list here. Or I can go into this view, and you can see get a quick preview of what those invoice templates look like. I can also add my own logo to my business to the business here, so it shows up on the invoices that I send out. And we give you the option to add an invoice footer. So this might be payment instructions. So whether it's make checks payable to a print up on the invoice, or you might want to just say thank you for your business, that kind of thing. It's the item, it's the text that shows up on the bottom of the invoice. We let you customize that right here. So sending invoices out is just that simple. You click on this little email button, send it out by email. It can include an optional link to pay by credit card if you want. And then your invoices are all recorded and saved right in this invoices section. When I'm in the invoices section itself, you can see the mini reports on the right have updated. They are all context aware. So depending on the section of Kashoo that I'm in, I'll see a little bit different information inside the mini reports. So here I can see the unpaid invoices that I have sorted by client. So I get an at-a-glance view of who owes me money still. And I can also see who my top clients are right from this list. In the center pane is a list of all the invoices that I've already sent out. I can always go in and view any of them at any given time. It's really handy to take a look at this. So I can, at a glance, see, this one here is overdue by 7 days. If I want to send it out by email again, it's just a simple matter of clicking into it, clicking on the email link, sending it out by email, and then I'm done. We have other quick links in here that make the app quick to navigate around. So if I want to see every single invoice that I've ever issued off to this particular client, I can just click on their name here. This will take me over to the list section inside of clients and directly into this client, and I can view their client details. The mini reports, again, have updated to show me information in context, so I can see the summary of the things that I've sold to this particular client. When I scroll down, I can see all the invoices that I've issued to this particular client only. And I even have the option of generating a statement for this client. So generating customer statements is really handy. Sometimes if they have a couple that are overdue, but they're unsure of which ones exactly are overdue, I can go and just generate a statement for them. I give them a summary. It will tell them only the things that are outstanding that they still owe me on, and they can really quickly get those paid out. I can also send them an activity statement, which will let them see all the transactions that they've done with me, all the invoices that I've issued to them in one single PDF. Just handy to give over to your both your clients and suppliers. You can go and generate those statements for. All right, so we've had a lot of questions come in around bank feeds and supported banks inside of Kashoo. So I'll show you right now, if you're already in your Kashoo account, where you can go and check and see if your bank is supported inside the product. So I've just jumped over to the settings section here, and I go over to connect banks. When I do that, if you've already set up a bank, you'll see it in the list here. If you haven't, just hit the little add bank account button. And when you do that, you'll be taken over to our screen to add a new bank account. You can see we've got some of the most popular banks showing in the list here. But in the institution name, I can just start typing as well. So if I want to see if Bank of America is in the list, I simply start typing that in. It shows up. I can then go and log in with my Bank of America login details and get that linked up to my Kashoo account. You can connect as many bank and credit card accounts that you need. We know a lot of small business owners have got a bunch of different accounts across different institutions. Feel free to connect all of them. Once you do that, all of your banking transactions will show up inside the banking section of your workspace. So you just go over to the banking section, choose whichever account you'd connected to, and you'll see those transactions flow in. Now, we've had questions from people where they're saying, okay, I didn't see my bank in that list. Does that mean I can't use Kashoo? Well, no, you can absolutely use Kashoo because we give you different ways of getting that bank information in. Even if your bank isn't in the list, you can easily just log into your online banking, download your transactions, and then upload them into Kashoo using a lot of different file formats. We support almost every single file format that any bank will give you, including some of the more flexible file formats that we have listed here. If you ever have any questions about that, feel free to check out our help or just shoot us a quick message and we can help you out with that. The process after your transactions have come in is exactly the same whether you've got a bank feed set up or you've imported the files. You'll see a list of those transactions show up below. So you can see from here, I'd gone and I'd spent $136 over at a company called Circle K. I can really quickly just go and record that as an expense. I could just need to go and select whichever category it was for. So in this case, it was a contractor that I was working with. I can specify any taxes that I was charged and just hit add. It's a quicker way of adding data into the system. So we automatically fill in the date for you, we enter in the details for you as a description, and we pre-populate the amount. It just saves you from having to do manual data entry inside the system. The only thing I really needed to set was whichever taxes were applicable and select the category. Now, if I'd already gone and manually entered something into Kashoo and it also came through in the bank, we'll actually suggest it as a match. So you'd see a fourth item show up in this list here and we'd suggest a match for you. And you can simply just check that box and say, yep, that's a match. And that way you can do your bank reconciliation right from this view in addition to just adding transactions in. So I know that's going fairly quickly over this. We are a little bit limited on time here, but I'm just going to jump over to the list sections real quick just to show you a couple of things that you can do. We've already seen the client section where I show you the details of a client and how you can see all the transactions related to them. Our supplier section is exactly the same. You can see all of your suppliers in this list here. It's searchable. You can also browse it as well. Clicking into the detail will get you right over to your supplier detail screen. See all their basic contact information, all the transactions you've had with them, the great mini reports to get the at-a-glance view of how the transactions you've been doing with them, and the ability to generate a statement. The items section is where you can go and get things set up inside your business that you buy and sell regularly. So in this case, I'm running this photo business here called Acme Photo. You saw earlier when I was sending out that invoice that I had sold a photo book. This is where I go and set up the detail of it. So I give it a name, I can type in the description, specify the taxes that are applicable to it, and enter my default price. So this is really handy so that it saves me from having to go and punch in the pricing information from scratch every single time. Now, some people have asked the question of, well, sometimes I like to customize the pricing for a particular client, or maybe I'm doing a... You can actually update this. You don't have to update the actual item itself. That's sort of your default price. Whenever you're sending an invoice out, you can customize each line item however you need to. So that's not a problem at all. I'll quickly touch on our reporting section now, so you can get a sense of the financial reports that we have available inside of Kashoo. I'll start with my favorite report, which is the income statement, also known as a profit and loss. So this is where you can see all of the money that's come into the business, all the income that you've generated. You can see the expenses, all the expenses that you've incurred throughout the business, and then you can see the almighty bottom line, which is my net income here. We also let you go and do comparable reporting. So if I want to see how my business was doing, let's say last year as compared to this year, I can just change a couple of these options, and I can see in 2018, I had sold $3,300 worth of this 4x6 photo print, and so far this year, I've sold $500 worth. Not bad. I can also take a look at all my expenses and sort of see how I'm tracking over time. At the end of the year last year, I'd had a loss of $41,000. So far this year, I've got a profit of $2,000. Not doing too badly. So it's showing some good gains for me here. We also let you go and check in on each of the items that you're selling. So sometimes it's handy to know not just how much a particular product that you're selling from a dollar perspective is doing, but also just quantity counts. So if I want to see how many photo books I've sold, I can see this year I've sold 12 of them, which generated $1,200 worth of revenue for me, as compared to last year where I sold 59 of them. Again, lots of handy little features just by changing some of these drop-down options to go and customize the reports for you. Export any couple of different formats, as you can see here. I can send them out to PDF if I want to get them printed out. I can also send them out to Excel if I want to do some advanced slicing and dicing of the numbers in a spreadsheet. So both of those are always available to you. My next favorite report is the unpaid invoices report. So always good to know from a cash flow perspective who owes you money. You can always go to this report to see that at a glance. It's broken down into sort of the traditional accounting categories of what you would expect. So something that is showing, an amount that's showing in the current column is an invoice that you sent out to a client that they still have time to pay you. So in this case, this was the invoice I'd set up earlier for $112 for Amanda Plum. She still has 30 days to pay me. That's why it's showing as current. Now, if somebody's overdue, it's going to show up in one of these other columns based on how overdue they are in number of days. So what I typically like to do is if I'm looking at collecting on cash that people owe me, I'll go over to this report. I'll start off on this over 90 column, and I'll probably look at the largest amount that's in here. So I'll say, all right, $719 from Beauty Magazine. They're overdue. Still need to get paid from them. I can just click on their name. Their phone number shows up right here. Give them a quick call. Ask what the status is of that invoice. If they ever need me to re-email it to them, I can just pull it up in that list, click on it, click this little email button, and send it out immediately. The unpaid bills report will look fairly similar. This is sort of the flip side of that unpaid invoices report. This is money that you have that you owe to some of the suppliers that you work with. And again, if you're ever overdue, you'll see how overdue you are based on the columns that are shown here. Always good to know, just again, from a cash flow perspective, the money that's coming into your business and the money that's going to be going out at any given time. I'm going to really quickly run through a couple of these other reports just so that you know that we've got them. These are typically useful come year end or as you're operating throughout your business if you're looking at filing your taxes. We've got a full balance sheet report here, as well as a general ledger. And the all transactions report is also known as a journal report. So you can see all the transactions that have been going through your business and are handy reports whenever you're working with your accountant. Come tax time, they'll probably be looking for these reports. You can easily go and share them with them. One of the things that I like to suggest is actually adding your accountant into Kashoo as a user. So Kashoo is a true multi-user system where you can add your accountant in. They can see all the transactions that you've got set up inside of here, and they can help work with you to get your taxes prepared. So I'll show you how you can do that. I'll just switch over to the settings section here, and I'll go over to manage users. You can see I've got 2 different users inside the system right now. I can easily add in another one. We don't charge anything extra for additional users, so feel free to add as many as you need. Access levels for everyone that you need to add into the system here. So in this case, you can see I've got Angel added as another user. She's set up as a view-only user. So she can log in, take a look at the transactions that I've got set up, but she won't be able to add anything new to the system. If I get my accountant added in, I'll probably want to give them the ability to go and edit it as well, because they'll probably want to go and make some changes for me whenever they see anything that needs to be revised. So inside of settings here, I'll just walk you through a couple of the other options that we have available to you. Under business settings is where you'll set up some of the basics about your business. You can set your the type of business that you've got and the industry that you're working. This is the information that you would have provided when you first set up your business inside of Kashoo. We've had some questions come in about, what information can I change and what information can't I change after I set up a business. We try and make it so you can modify pretty much anything after you've set up a business, with a couple of exceptions. You cannot change your primary currency after you set up your business. So it is important when you're getting that business set up that you are setting that primary currency correctly. And that is the currency that you typically do business in, generally based on the country that you're based in as well. If you issue invoices to clients or receive bills from your suppliers in different currencies, that's not a problem at all. You can enable our multi-currency support right here just by turning on that little checkbox. And then you can go and specify whenever you're sending an invoice what currency that invoice should be in. But again, from a reporting perspective, we'll always give you the ability to convert out to your primary currency. In our invoicing and payment section is where you can set up the contact details of your business. This is sort of the address and other details that will show up on the invoices that you send to your clients as well. And this is the bottom section here is where you can set up the Kashoo payments functionality. Again, available in Canada and the US to accept payment by Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. And the rates that we charge are always visible just by clicking on this little link. Again, it's 2.9% plus 30 cents. There are no monthly fees on that, no minimum fees. So if you get set up and you never use it, you don't get charged a dime for it. And again, you only get charged if if your client actually pays with a credit card. If your client sends you a check or pays in any other manner, you don't get charged that fee. An important part of getting set up inside of Kashoo is setting up your sales taxes. So the sales tax section under setup is exactly where you would go and do that. It's fairly straightforward to get one set up. You can see in here, I've set up two taxes. I've got one called local tax and one called state tax, and the various different rates set up for those. We've got a great knowledge article on how you can get those set up. If you ever have any questions, just click on the Learn More button that's right there. Connect banks we have already talked about, and manage users we've already talked about. I'll quickly talk you through the export data option. An area I'm going to very frequently, but it will probably provide you with some peace of mind just knowing that it's there. So we always let you export most of the data that you have inside of Kashoo into some very flexible formats that, again, just for peace of mind, just having a full set of all of your financial information available to you on your computer, some people really like that. So I can export a multi-worksheet workbook inside of Excel and download all of my data right onto my computer. We also let you export out to QuickBooks format, which is really handy. Some accountants will want that at the end of the year come tax time. Some people have asked about the add-ons that we support inside of Kashoo. So inside the add-on sections where you can find all of those. Again, we talked about Stripe. If you already use Stripe to collect payment from any of the clients that you work with, you can add in your Stripe account, and whenever you issue an invoice from Kashoo, the payment link that's included will then go through your Stripe account. And we don't charge any additional fees on top of that. So it's just whatever you would pay to Stripe to get paid through there. We've actually got one of the best integrations in with Square. We've got a real-time integration with Square. So if you use Square to receive payment from any of your clients, or you use it as a point of sale system, you can have all of those transactions brought into Kashoo. So as soon as you swipe a card through the Square terminal, that transaction will appear inside Kashoo. So just clicking on that link there will help you get started in connecting the two accounts together. And we also have some integrations in with FreshBooks Classic to get your FreshBooks invoices brought right into Kashoo. And we also have an integration in with BluePay, which is similar to our integration in with Stripe, where you can send invoices out to your clients and get paid with your existing BluePay merchant account. Okay, I see we have some questions coming in about mobile, so we'll just jump over to that real quick. So Kashoo does have some fantastic mobile apps, and I'll just show you those really quick. So this is, I've got an iPhone on the left and an iPad on the right here. All of my information that we just set up is fully synced over. So I can see I'm on the dashboard screen to start here. So I'm at the profit and loss overview dashboard. This is where I can get a high-level visual view of how my business is doing. So I can see the money that's come in and the money that's going out for any given month. On the right-hand side, again, it's a similar kind of mini report that we saw on the web. can see my almighty bottom line here. I can see my net income for the year. If I just swipe over, I can get over to my income overview, which shows me my top clients. So I always know where I'm getting most of my money from for my business. And I can also see my top sales, so the items that are selling the best. Down below here, I can see money that is still owing to me, so amounts that are outstanding that I can collect on. And our final dashboard here that I'll show you is our expense overview. So it's a really handy way to see where your money is going. So you can see for this particular business, the majority of my expenses are actually related to rent. So I'm paying a lot of rent for this particular business here. In addition to just seeing how things are going inside your business, the app is fully functional. You can go and you can issue invoices right from the app. You can record all of your expenses from the app. And it's actually really handy to do that. So some people, again, from making sure you're always recording your expenses point of view, if you're out at a coffee shop and you just want to record, I took a client out for coffee and I want to record that real quick, well, we let you do that. You can just quickly go and choose, I went to the coffee shop, I paid with my credit card, and that was for meals and entertainment. I can also go and snap a picture of a receipt. If I've taken a picture of the receipt that I received from the coffee shop, I can add that in here. I've actually already got one. I'll just choose that and hit save. And as soon as I do that, my expense is added into the system. I can refer to it later. And again, it's got a picture of that receipt that I can always access, and always handy to have come audit time should anyone ever want to see, the proof that anything that you bought something there. It's always available to you right at your fingertips. So I see that we had a question come in around any limits around the number of receipts that you can add and attachments that you can have. We don't have any solid limits around how many you can add. We do have some fair usage guidelines though, but if you're generally just adding expense receipts in, you won't have any issues with that. So like we saw on the web, on iOS as well, you've got a full set of financial reports that you can view right on your device. They are also shareable right from here as well. So in addition to being able to see them, to be able to drill into them, to click into any of the categories to figure out what was going on any of them, I can just tap the little share button here, and we generate a PDF copy of that report. You can then send it off by email, by iMessage, or even just save it to your files on your device. So that's been a really quick overview of Kashoo here. Now I'll switch it back over to Christy for a second to pull up any of the questions that have come in, that we can jump over to any aspect of the app and start answering some of the questions here.
Great. So we have lots of questions, although I will say that the Kashoo team member in the chat box has done a great job at answering a lot of them. I did want to start by just commenting on something that Jody said. She said, wow, totally impressed with all these options. I know it'll take a while to wade in, but I'm super excited at the chance to replace my monthly QuickBooks fee. So yay, I think you did a great job, Emric, of showing them the features and the value of Kashoo. That's the good news. So let's get into some of these questions because there are a lot. So Mark asked, are there any transaction charges?
So the only transaction charges that we have are if you happen to use Kashoo to send an invoice to your client and you want them to pay by credit card. If they pay any other way, nope, no additional fees. That is the only fee that we would charge. It is a standard credit card charge.
Awesome. And along those same lines, someone's asking, how and when will income from credit card payments get to my bank?
Sorry, can you repeat that question? How and when would your...
Will income from credit card payments get to my bank? I'm assuming if a client pays with Kashoo Payments, how does that get transferred to their bank account?
Got it. So as soon as you get set up with Kashoo Payments, you do go through sort of a bit of a setup process where you'll provide your bank account details. And as soon as your client has paid, typically within 2 to 5 business days, those funds automatically will transfer. One of the benefits of using Kashoo Payments as opposed to Stripe is that we will record all of that inside of Kashoo automatically for you. So we will show you right on screen how much is still outstanding to you within that 2 to 5 day window. And as soon as that payment gets made to your bank account, we'll show that transfer inside of Kashoo.
Awesome. And so Troy's asking, if I have several businesses, do I need to purchase a code for each one of them?
Yes. So you can set up as many businesses as you would like inside of Kashoo, but each business does have its own subscription. So you would need to purchase a separate code for each one of those.
Okay. And Stephen is saying, in the UK, the tax year runs from April to the following March. Can I set a start date for the year-to-date column?
You absolutely can. So you can, inside of settings, you set up your fiscal year right inside of there, and then all of your reporting will be based on that.
Awesome. And Eric is asking, when sending an invoice, who does the email come from? Is it a Kashoo email address?
So for technical reasons, the from address is a Kashoo email address. However, the name that shows up will be yours, and the reply to address will be yours.
Gotcha. Okay. And Mike is saying, if I have a shopping cart, can he integrate his shopping cart with Kashoo?
So we do have an open API. So depending on what that shopping cart is and sort of your level of technical expertise, if you want to write to our API, absolutely. That way you can automatically get all those transactions added right into Kashoo. We do have some people that they might be using a point of sale system other than Square, because we've got direct integration in with Square. And what we find works well for them is they'll do batch entries inside of Kashoo. So on whether it be a weekly or a monthly basis, they can just go and add the income into Kashoo as a single entry, and then refer to their reports that they get out of their point of sale system to get those amounts.
Awesome. And we've had lots of questions about PayPal. Can you talk about PayPal?
Absolutely. So we add in PayPal just like you would any other bank account. So whenever you go to that Connect Bank screen, just type in PayPal as the name of the bank, and you can have your PayPal transactions come into that banking view. So if you have money that's coming in or money that's going out, we'll pre-populate the date, the amount, and the description for you. You just need to go and specify the category and the related taxes for those.
Okay. One of the questions was, can they accept payments via PayPal?
We don't currently have the ability to add to accept payments through PayPal directly in the app. If you already have a PayPal merchant account that has got a payment form inside our invoice footer section that we looked at earlier, you can add that link right in there.
Gotcha. Okay. And Deb is asking, bookkeeper and an accountant.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second. Deb was asking something about a bookkeeper and an accountant.
Yep. Is there an extra charge for additional users within an account?
No. Got it. No, you can add as many users as you want, no additional fees. Again, everything that you've seen today, absolutely everything is included. The only additional fee would be if you use the credit card processing feature. Outside of that, you get all of it.
Awesome. And Mark is asking about a Zapier integration.
We don't currently have one, but again, we do have an open API. So if you do need to have items added into your Kashoo account or pulled out of your Kashoo account, feel free to check out our API for that.
Okay. And we had a question about setting up automated recurring invoicing.
Mm-hmm. So we have the ability to do repeating invoices, which is different than recurring invoices. So a repeating functionality will let you go, and we typically use the example of if I'm doing data entry inside the system and I want to record income that I've received from a client from January up until now, instead of having to go and maybe I would normally issue them invoices once a week, twice a week, I can go and set up a repeating invoice so that it gets added into the system. It's slightly different than a recurring invoice because there's some expectations around a recurring invoice where it'll automatically go and email and do that kind of thing. We unfortunately don't have that automation built into Kashoo.
Okay. And Faith was asking, how far back does Kashoo download activity for? For example, if I want to upload for the past year, do I need to download the CSV?
It depends on your bank. If you are trying to go to get data for an entire year's worth of data, you generally will need to go to your bank, download a file, and import it into Kashoo. But each bank is a little bit different. So once you connect your bank, you will see you'll then be able to know how much data can come in.
Okay. And Deb is asking, are reports cash basis, accrual basis, or either?
They are accrual basis.
Okay. And let's see here. Does Kashoo create 1099s for contractors?
We do not directly have the ability to create 1099s, but our customer statement and supplier statement features have been used to generate the numbers that you need for those.
Perfect. And what about tracking mileage?
We don't have any mileage tracking directly built into the app.
Okay. And you're answering these questions just rapid fire. I love it. All right. And Tom is asking, is it a complete general ledger that would provide a balance sheet as one of the reports?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And Lewis is asking, does it work with Canadian taxes?
It sure does. So Kashoo is actually a Canadian company. We're based in Vancouver, British Columbia. So we absolutely do. So we actually have got clients in pretty much every country on the planet right now, which I'm very proud of that. And we do have a flexible tax system. So people have asked, are you supported in the UK? Do you support that? We absolutely do.
Awesome. Okay. And I had a couple of people ask about future updates. So these people, you know, the Sumo-lings are obviously buying a lifetime deal. Does that mean that they're going to get access to future updates to Kashoo?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great. So you know what? I think that's probably the majority of the questions. Like I said, a lot of them have been answered in the chat box. I would love it if you could let them know where they could get a hold of you after this in case they have any further questions.
Most certainly. So on screen right now, you should see a couple of different options of how to get in touch with us. You can always get us when you're logged into your Kashoo account, clicking that little yellow bubble in the bottom right corner of the screen. It's also on our main homepage there. Just click on that, type in whatever your question is, and we'll get back to you right away. You can also pick up the phone and give us a call if you'd like. And we're on all the social things, including Twitter and Facebook. And you can email us at answers@kashoo.com as well.
I don't think I've ever been on a webinar where a phone number has been offered. So that is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great customer service. Like I said, the comments have been really positive. So thank you so much for doing this demo. And guys, if you're still watching, thank you for staying until the end. As I just wanted to remind you that I'll be sending out a replay of this webinar later. You did a great job at that demo. So you showed lots of features and all of the value. So if you haven't already gotten Kashoo, head on over to AppSumo and grab it while you can, because when codes run out, they run out, guys. So again, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.